Okay, Mr. Hines, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you could let participants in, I'd appreciate it. And then when you're speaking, I will share in that responsibility as well. Okay,
Yes, sir. Gotcha. Thank you.
Also
Thank you.
here, so I can do the same.
Oh, great. Thank you, Ms. Renton. Let me find you. And well, Mr. Hines, can you make Ms. Renton a co-host, please?
Yes, sir.
She could help us out. Thank you. All right. Good evening, parents and guardians. Thank you for tuning in to this evening's parent meeting. We hope to be with you for about 30 minutes. Obviously, if there are questions, we will stay on as long as we need to answer questions for you. I wanted to share with you that the purpose of this evening's meeting is to update you on a recent survey results related to our masking protocols and your interest in our continuation of our masking protocols for the remainder of this year. So we do want to share with you the results from that particular survey, as well as my recommendations to our board of directors for moving forward. I want to just say on the front end that when it comes to making the recommendations that are going to be shared with you this evening for how we will proceed, I think it's important to note that in my capacity that I'm serving here, I'll reserve the right to make further recommendations based on CDC guidelines, State Department of Health, as well as input from the Connecticut State Department of Education, as well as any and all data that we receive related to the positivity rates related to COVID-19. Our agenda this evening, as I said, will start with the mass survey feedback and recommendations. We'll also have a small discussion about our latest procurement of PPE equipment. We'll give you a little bit of an update on enrollment and admissions, the initiatives that we're taking here for the upcoming school year, and we will end with the academic department update. If at any time you have questions, please enter those questions into our chat and we will read them and give you a response. And if we're unable to provide a response this evening, we certainly will follow up with you with responses to your questions. Okay, so last week we sent out a mask survey. We wanted to get feedback from our parents, our guardians, as well as our faculty and staff. And while I won't go into every single question that was asked, I will highlight some of the key questions that help to inform recent recommendations and for decision making. One of the questions that was asked was, we wanted to find out what is your affiliation with Jumoke Academy. As you can see from the slide here, we had about 157 parents to respond. That represented 68.56% of our responses. So the majority of the people that responded were parents. Staff, we had about 27% of our staff to respond. The raw numbers, 62 of them. And then we have some individuals that are faculty and staff who are also parents. And then the other category will probably be guardians or grandparents, as an example, okay? Moving on to the next question. We asked the question, if given the option, which would you prefer? Keeping masks for scholars, keeping masks for staff, all the above, or no masks at all? The majority of respondents I'm sorry, somebody muted me. Let me go back again. This next question indicates that if given the option, which would you prefer? The majority of the respondents indicated that they would prefer to keep masks for scholars and for staff. And that's indicated by the yellow bar line that you see, which indicates about 64% of the folks completing the survey prefer masks being in place for scholars and staff. I do want to note that about 18% of the respondents indicated that they would like to discontinue masks, and that we should give consideration to that. The next question that I'd like to highlight is as follows. If we continue to mask after February 28th, 2022, how long should we continue? As you can see here, we had about 13% of the folks participating saying, hey, we should continue through March 31st, followed by 4% saying continue through April 30th, followed by 46% indicating that we should continue through the end of the school year, and then closely behind that, 35% saying until the positivity rate drops below 1%. As a side note, I do believe as of today, the positivity rate is 2.42%. Majority of the folks responding would like for us to continue through the end of the school year. Okay, before we get into the PPE update, again, I know I have some folks that just joined us, and so if you missed some of the opening slides, we are recording this evening, and I'll make sure that this is uploaded so that you can play it back to hear the data that I just shared. But based on that data, we are recommending that our school continues to keep our mask in place until the end of this school year, which is in June. I believe we're scheduled to end around June 14th, if I calculated that properly. We had to add in a few extra days for snow. We will continue, as I said earlier, to keep an eye on the CDC guidelines, the State Department of Health guidelines, as well as the data that's available to us, as well as any guidance that we have from the Connecticut State Department of Education. So while it is my recommendation to continue through June, I want our community to understand that I will reserve the right to go back and look at that information again, based on what is happening in and around us. When I shared this originally with our faculty and staff on this past Friday, I did have a meeting with them. Again, I was pretty definitive that we would continue through June. But again, I want to highlight here with you that we will continue to look at our data sets to make sure we're making decisions that are in keeping with what is most practical and most consistent with the data that supports these decisions. If you have questions, please enter them into the chat. We're going to continue with our PPE updates. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hines, our finance director. Mr. Hines.
Thank you, Dr. Moreau. Good evening, everyone. Just a quick update on the PPE. As most of you may know that have been attending our monthly minutes with Monroe and even seeing around the state the communications that may be going on, we are in what is called now our phase 3 of receiving masks and test kits. Tomorrow morning, I will actually be procuring another set according to this phase 3 of our test kits. We have not received word on when we'll receive a new shipment of masks, but we do have those on order as well. So once we get those masks, the test kits in particular, we are planning to do a large distribution, both to our staff and also to our parent community, you that are on the call here tonight. So I would ask that you look for a communication that should come out sometime tomorrow via Parent Square. It'll be from your scholars' buildings, prospective buildings, and it'll talk to you about when we plan to do at least 3 dates for distribution. We've chosen at least 3 dates and times that we think might work, at least initially. Outside of that communication, if you find once you receive it that you cannot make or attend that either of those dates, just reach out to the building leadership, principals and deans, and let them know that you still would like to receive test kits. What we're planning to do is to distribute up to 4 test kits. Some kits that we have 2 per box, some have 1 per box. So you will either get 2 boxes if there are 2 per box, or 4 boxes if they're single test kits in them. And outside of this, once we've done this mass distribution, going forward, if you have a need for additional test kits, once again, reach out to your building leadership to inform them, and we will ensure that our nurses in each building have enough supply to distribute. We will ask that you sign out for these masks when you receive them on those particular days that, again, will be communicated to you by tomorrow. So just look forward to an extra couple of minutes where basically you'll just sign off that you've received the test kits. And we do need to keep track for the state purposes. So that's why we would ask that you just sign off on those. There's nothing more that you would need to do on that respect. And again, we're trying to make sure that we not only keep our scholars, our staff, but also keep you safe as well. And so since the state is providing these test kits to us free of charge, we certainly want to make sure that we are utilizing them in the best way possible, not just to store them up. So look for that communication to come out tomorrow, and we hope that you'll participate and come by and pick up test kits for yourself and or your household. Dr. Moreau, that's all at this point, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hines. We're going to go ahead and continue with the enrollment and admissions initiatives. Let me share with you that to date, we have a little over 100 new applicants. I think we're somewhere around 102. My last glance at the data that's coming in, but this is for school year 22-23. The significance of this is that we depend on new applicants each year to support the continuation of our school campuses, and just the overall operations are impacted by the numbers of scholars that attend in terms of our ability to operate our campuses. And so parents, we need your help. We need your help with continuing to send your scholars to us, but also word of mouth and encouraging your neighbors, your friends, family members to consider Jumoke Academy education, which is a great education for folks looking for alternatives to what exists in and around the Connecticut and neighboring cities. That said, I would like to share with you that on March 31st at 5 p.m., we will be having our lottery for this upcoming academic year. It will be at 5 p.m. and it's going to be broadcasted on Facebook Live. So more information will be pushed out to you as we move closer to that particular date. There is a number of spots open, particularly at the middle school grades, upper middle schools, grades 6, 7, and 8. Again, as a reminder, we do have grades 5 is where our middle school program begins. But again, we know right now that we will have some openings for grades 6, 7, and 8. So again, if you know families who may be looking for alternative middle school experiences, we would love to have them. We also obviously have slots for the primary grades, okay, preschool through grade 4. We have enrollment fairs coming up later this month. Each school campus will have a specific enrollment fair dedicated to sharing a little bit about their schools, their campuses, their programs, and what they have to offer. Again, we want to encourage you to share with family and friends, neighbors, and even if you're interested in wanting to know more about each campus, on March 22nd at the Hartford Conservatory, from 5 o'clock to 6:15. That will be an opportunity for parents to learn more about what the Hartford Conservatory has to offer, their curriculum, their programming, meet the administrative team, as well as some of the faculty and staff. On March 24th at Josh Smart from 5:30 to 6:15, you would have the same opportunity to learn about Josh Smart and its program and its curriculum, as well as its faculty and staff, as well as leadership. And then on March 29th at the elementary school, referred to as TED, From 5 p.m. to 5:45, we would have an enrollment fair there as well. So we do want to encourage you to please consider participating, and more information will be forthcoming to you by way of flyers and parent square communications, and you'll be seeing some of our yard signs going up in and around the city, as well as on location at each campus, advertising and promoting these enrollment fairs. As far as admissions initiatives are concerned, just some other things that we're doing that I'd like for you to know about. We do have, continuing this year, our highway electronic billboard signage that's up. We've gotten several phone calls from parents and community members and just folks, even folks in other districts, saying how attractive the electronic bulletin board signs look. So if you're traveling up and down 91 North and South, as well as 84 East and West, you will notice the Jumoke Academy now enrolling signs up on the billboards with some candid shots of our schools, our campuses, our staff, our scholars. So again, deliberate initiative that we're undertaking to try to attract folks to consider an education here. Also, we have a social media campaign that's continuing. We are continuing to use Facebook and Instagram for promoting our schools, but also the electronic bulletin boards has the ability to ping your phone, depending on your proximity to these boards. If you open up your phone and open up an app, you'll get a direct communication encouraging you to explore our schools and encouraging you to enroll. We also have the technology that will enable us to, again, ping your phone at local grocery stores or places that you may frequent within the city, in and around the city. So don't be alarmed, we're not watching you, but there's technology that allows us to kind of tap in to different zip codes and promote our schools. And so we're excited about that. We are also continuing with the availability of yard signs. I asked last year, and I'm asking again, and I said earlier, parents, that we need your help. If you are willing and able to take a yard sign to be posted in your yard, it says now enrolling. We have it in Spanish and in English. It's either language is on either side of the yard sign. We'd love to have one delivered to you. You can send me a communication directly through the chat with your name, email, as well as address, or you can email me directly with that information, and we would love to have a sign brought to you and placed in your yard. When you wake up in the morning, it will be there. So if you can kind of share that information with us, we'll put my contact, which is monroet@jumokeacademy.org, or you can give me your information directly in the chat. We'll get it to you. We're also going to be doing some advertising. Right now, we have some drafted radio advertisements that will be coming out soon. And we'll push out a communication on that when that is available so that you can listen for it and share it with others. And we are exploring some other type of advertising through a video media type of platform. And we'll update you on that if and when that becomes available for us to promote our schools. I do know there are a number of questions. We are going to get to your questions in just a moment. Please keep them coming. We're going to continue with our Jumoke Academy academic updates. And I believe Dr. Gordon Hall, our interim academic director, as well as the principal of Giles Smart, is on the Zoom call with us this evening. Dr. Gordon Hall.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to give you some academic updates. What's happening in and around the district currently to prepare for Smarter Balance. Next slide. Okay. First and foremost, very popular, one thing we do every year and we do it very well is the spelling bee. The spelling bee will happen again this year. Currently, scholars are preparing for the classroom spelling bee that should take place during the week of March 21st. That will be followed by the school-wide spelling bee that will happen the week of April 4th. And then the finalists will go on to the district spelling bee that will be held on April 21st. As we get closer to that date, more information will definitely be shared with our families. Slide. It's that time of the year now for spring testing. With all the shortage of staff going on and all the learning loss, we are still responsible for our scholars participating and excelling in the Smarter Balance and on the NGSS. Currently, all schools have come up with crunch time plans to get scholars prepared. This is a plan where teachers are focused on specific testing standards needed for math and reading and science also. So scholars might be coming home saying that they're practicing a Smarter Balance type test question or passages or anything like that. That's what's happening in and around the district now. All schools are participating from grades 2 all the way up to 8th grade. In addition, our testing window when we'll take the state exam will happen April 25th to May 13th. So during that time period is when scholars will actually take the state exam. The order of tests will be the science first, then the reading, and then the math. Each school will share their specific testing dates with families, just so you'll know. So when scholars come home, you know, they can make sure they're relaxing or they're eating a good breakfast to prepare for testing on that specific day. Next slide. And finally, it is National Reading Month. We know that reading just 20 minutes each day builds empathy for others, exposes our scholars who are reading 20 minutes per day to 1.8 million words per year. And it also just positively affects and boosts your mental health and physical health. Later tonight, you will, about 5 minutes actually, you're going to get a parent square that's highlighting a We Unite Read Challenge that we partnered with another organization on, and that's going to come through Parent Square, and you'll see what it's all about. And we encourage families to participate. They're also going to have a classroom one that they're going to participate in, but the more they read, the better it is. And again, scholar achievement is what our drive is, and so we just want to make sure they're prepared and they're competitive with others when they leave Jumoke Academy. And that's all our updates for tonight.
Dr. Gordon Hall, thank you very much. I'm going to have you stay on for just a couple minutes here longer. We're going to take some questions. I think there were a few questions that were placed in the chat. And Ms. Renton, are you on? Are you able to see those questions? And if you are, can you read those?
Sure. The first question is, will summer school be offered for students who are still behind due to virtual learning? Wondering because of the staffing shortages.
Okay, so I guess I'll take that one, I'll at least begin with it, and then I'll ask Dr. Gordon Hall if you want to add anything to it. So certainly there will be summer school opportunities this summer. We are in the process of planning for that right now. We are not ready to roll all the specifics out, but I will give you some perspective on that. As it has been in keeping with past years, we are continuing our partnership with Goodwin University and the Connecticut River Academy this summer for those rising 5th graders through 8th graders for them to participate in kind of STEM focused, manufacturing focused, college and career readiness focused summer programming. So there will be an opportunity for a select group of scholars to participate in that particular summer program. So we will be getting that promotional material soon. In addition to that, we, as we did last year, we had a summer opportunity for approximately 100 scholars from the elementary grade levels. I think rising first graders through fourth grade. And so we will be pushing that out. We're in the process of trying to define what that curricular experience will be. I think last summer we wanted to focus on reading or literacy and mathematics, but also we wanted the scholars to have some other skill development in other areas as well. Dr. Gordon Hall, do you want to add anything to that, or any anticipated time frame that we might be pushing information out to our parent community?
Absolutely. So the hope is to be able to push something out by like the end of April or so, so families can know what's going on. In planning this, we're trying to be very specific with the targeted areas that we're identifying, and using our data to also identify some scholars too, to make sure that we get special invites in for our scholars who had some learning loss. With staff shortage right now, we have already started posting for these positions because we know that many districts are doing that, and we want to be very competitive, be able to be competitive in that. So the first thing we have done is the posting did go out because we know that it's staff shortage. We want to identify staff immediately. The planning part will definitely come in the upcoming weeks, but we have already posted to address some of the staff shortages.
Thank you. And I might add, it's great if we have internal candidates, but as we have done historically, we've also looked at candidates who have come from outside of our district as well. So again, we would like to get the best candidates that we can to support our summer programming. And it's always great when we have candidates who know our scholars, know our population, know our community, but who can also deliver the instruction that is needed to help move our scholars forward. So thank you for that question. Is there another question, Ms. Renton?
Yes, the other one is, what is being done about staff shortage? I know my son's class just lost his teacher and has 26 students. So there's going to be more students and no teachers.
Yeah, so we recognize that there unfortunately have been staff shortages, not only at the academy, but in and throughout the state and out the country. It's an unfortunate reality that we've been dealing with. We've gotten very creative at trying to meet the needs of our scholars instructionally. In some cases, we've had, with the support of our teacher partners, mentors, as well as our principals, they have been working with our academic assistants in some cases to support the continuation of some of the instruction on a periodic basis. We have also come up with other creative solutions. For example, I do know that we've taken one of our instructional coaches for math who has been working pretty closely with some of the classrooms at our middle school level to deliver instruction through remote means by having another adult in the classroom, but he unfortunately can't be in 2 or 3 places at one time, but he is able to deliver instruction on a regular and a daily basis to help meet the needs of scholars who are in some of those critical content areas, as I would describe them. We also, as far as the district is concerned, I've put together a team that I refer to as the Jaguar team to look at some of our most challenging situations and try to figure out what are some other creative opportunities that are out there, or creative ways that we can address some of the staff shortages that we've had, and that unfortunately that we have periodically as a result of folks making different career decisions. And in some cases, we, at the very least, as I said, we are providing lesson plans and instructional supports to some of our assistants who are able to stand and deliver with monitoring and check-ins and support from veteran teachers, as well as their building leadership. Dr. Gordon Hall, again, I'll yield to you, and perhaps there's some things I may be overlooking that you might want to elaborate on or highlight.
at the elementary school, additionally, because when you have a teacher leave a class, it is very difficult. So just being creative, I know that the building leadership have identified other certified teachers on those teams where teachers are no longer there to teach, to go in and support with the literacy and the math classes to make sure that that instruction continues. So just as a whole, yes, we're trying to be very creative. I could tell you, again, not just with our district and just all around everywhere, everybody has to be creative. In the school building, you'll go in our buildings and you'll see our leaders are teaching classes and supporting with classes. Our number one goal and priority remains scholar achievement, and we are continuing to make sure that we come up with creative ways to keep that going.
Thank you. I would also want to add a couple more things. We continue to have, I would call, ongoing recruitment efforts. If you go on our website, you could see the open positions that we have. We continue to interview. I don't have the data at my fingertips right now, but we interview a number of folks, I would say weekly, every couple of weeks or so for open positions. And I just don't want to just take a warm body. And right now, as we move into the springtime, we hope to see a stronger applicant pool that would consider a career here at the Academy. If not, as we close out this year, certainly as we prepare for the next academic year. But hiring continues to be an important priority for us, and not just hiring, but hiring the best that we can attract to work in the best interest of our scholars in our community. So again, I just wanted to let you know that we're not just sitting here resting. Again, we are all vying for teachers across the state, across the country. Okay. So again, ongoing efforts are happening. Next question in the chat. Is there another question in the chat?
Are there any plans to try and keep the teachers that are currently employed at Jumoke, Ted? We lost a great teacher in Ms. Bogle. Is there concern about losing more teachers?
Well, when people leave, they leave for a variety of reasons. And so I'm not going to get into specific teachers or personnel matters, but if the teacher is meeting with success and he or she or support staff desire to stay and an opportunity is presented to them, then it's a decision that they make. We constantly have conversations about how to retain, particularly the folks that are great, for our scholars, great for our community. And at the end of the day, as long as they are producing and they're working out well, it becomes a decision that they make. And people leave for all kinds of different reasons. And unfortunately, we've been really hit hard during the COVID, the pandemic, like many folks have. Ms. Renton, is there another question in the chat?
That's all we have for questions.
Okay. So again, I'd like to remind you, if you are willing and able to help support the enrollment and admissions initiative, please let us know that you're willing to do so. And if you're willing to take a yard sign, we'd appreciate that. I do also believe that in our chat, we also put a link to some enrollment flyers. Feel free to make a copy of that, cut and paste to make yourselves a copy and share it with folks that you know who may be interested, okay? And unless there aren't any other questions, I believe we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this evening. I wanna thank everyone for your participation. And please reach out to us if you have additional questions or concerns, and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you and have a great evening. Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.